Arsenal knocked out. It's definitely a tough pill to swallow, but I'm not even sad, really. I've obviously made this late because I just couldn't bring myself to record it. I'm just so fucking done. I mean, the sadness came more against Villa, but this is just a kick in the guts because at least we had this competition and it wasn't all bad. I feel like the first half we could have definitely said we were the better team, but after that, we were just completely outclassed. And even though I predicted a win, you could tell, surely you could tell that I was not confident. But look, I've seen all this shit about everyone making fun of the Arsenal Twitter account for saying it was a journey to be proud of. But I mean, I don't really agree. We didn't put in the best performances in the Champions League this season. I might do at the end of the season, I'm gonna do like a full season review and I'm gonna get into all that. But yeah, I do feel it had its moments. It definitely had its moments. That penalty shootout against Porto, beating Lens 6-0. There were good moments. There were bad moments. Our form away from home wasn't great, but it was definitely good to be back in this tournament because it's been a long time and odds are we're going to be back next year. I don't know if we've officially secured Champions League football. I doubt we have because we're only like 10 points or so ahead of Villa. Less than that, I think. So yeah, definitely not. But odds are we're going to get Champions League football next season. But let's just talk about this game because I'm just gutted. I'm really gutted. Okay, so I think I'm just going to start with an overview of like the whole game and how it all went. The first half, as I said before, was good. I feel like we were the more dominant team. So I think my charger for my phone. Yeah, I feel like we were definitely the better team in that first half. We controlled the game quite well. Bayern sat back a bit, which I wasn't expecting, but again, it makes sense that they would have, given us a bit of the possession early on and then tried to take the game. But I feel like it was just it was a good first half performance, nothing amazing. I've seen everyone giving Arteta shit for, how we played. But in that first half, Martinelli gets slipped through. If he scores, then it could have been a whole different story. I definitely wouldn't blame this exit on Arteta, and I'm going to go into all that. But in that first half, I would definitely say that we were better. It was 50-50 in terms of possession. We had 6 shots. It was definitely very even. But I feel like we could walk out of that as the better team. But in the second half, it was just complete domination. Bayern walked away with it in the end. It was a Kimmich bullet header that separated us, and you can't really blame any one player for that. Except if you're going to blame someone, you'd probably blame Martinelli because he could have tracked back to get on him. But the goal was coming. And my issues aren't with the goal, right? It's with the response. That goal was scored in the 63rd minute. We had almost half an hour left. Almost half an hour left to do something, but it didn't end up happening. We created fuck all. Fuck all. We had 2 shots in that second half, and they were fucking pot shots. Neither of them were on target. And it was just disappointing because there's been games like this. There's been so many games like this where we've just looked so drained. We just haven't looked like we were ever going to win it. The game against Villa in that second half, we didn't look like we were going to win that game at all. And I feel like you should have to put that on Arteta. As much as I was just defending him before, I don't know what happens at half time, because we just completely lose control, and we ended up not scoring in either of those games. And Bayern can definitely say that they walked away from this game, from this tie, as the better team by far across two legs. We were lucky to even really be in it, if I'm being honest. Bayern definitely did have some moments where they capitalized off our mistakes. But what we really saw was inexperience from our part. We just saw a team that weren't ready for a tournament like this. And I wasn't expecting us to go and win it, you know. But I just thought that we would have the quality to get past this Bayern team. And I feel like a lot of Arsenal fans have been saying we would scrape past Bayern. I didn't say that. I knew it would be a tough game. But just it's been really disappointing to see this team, because we know that we're better than this. The way that we've been performing this year, we've had more losses in the past 4 days than we had in the last 3.5 months, which really shows something, because this team has gotten so much better. I've seen this team improve so much. So I got a runny nose. And we could always go next year. Look, I feel like I was being a bit negative when it comes to the league. We could still win the league. City have some games that they can drop points. I'm just not getting my hopes up. But yeah, just overall, not a good performance. We were 100% the second best team. And here's the thing, I feel like in all of our games, we've had a couple standout players. In all of our poor games, we've at least had a couple players that have stood out, you know, that have played well. An example I can think of is in the West Ham game. Odegaard, I feel like, was very good in that game. Same in the Aston Villa game. I think that Odegaard as well was good. We've had games where we've conceded a goal and we've been defensively solid. We just haven't been able to score. But today didn't feel like that. Even though we lost 1-0 and we only conceded 1 goal, I feel like defensively we just weren't very good. And I'll get to that in the player ratings. But just the lack of creativity in this team. We ran out of ideas. If I was to describe the second half in one word, or in one way, I would say that we just completely ran out of ideas. The fact we should have scored. We should have scored. And what happened at the end there, it was so telling of what the game was. We win a fucking free kick. Saka takes it short. For some stupid reason, he takes it quick. And we win the corner somehow, and then he just plays it short. Horrible corner. For the last kick of the game, to play a short corner is just, yeah, it's pretty unfortunate. Let's get into the player ratings, shall we? All right, I don't even know where to start with these player ratings. They're honestly really difficult. For Raya, he wasn't bad. Made a few saves, only conceded 1 goal. He had great distribution, did not misplace a single pass. So I'm actually going to give him a 7. I wouldn't say, no. Yeah, you know what? No, I'll give him a 7. He had a great game. There was nothing he could really do for the goal, but it's just wasn't really involved in the game much. Like, he only had 13 completed passes, and for a goalkeeper that's usually so huge in our build-up. So I would have given him higher, but he just wasn't really involved too much. Ben White, I'll give a 6. Didn't really impress me too much. I feel like he contained Guerrero well, but it's Guerrero. He's not even a winger. So he was fine, I guess. Saliba and Gabriel both get 5s. Just average. Like, they didn't make any errors this time. They were passing well at the back. We had the ball at the back for so long in the first half. I feel like for huge chunks of that game, we were just pinging the ball around the back, and they weren't really able to create anything. Bayern didn't really have too much of a threat going forward. I mean, their only goal was from a set piece. So, yeah, it was just a dull game, so it's really difficult to judge defenders. And then Tomiyasu, I'll actually give a 7. No, I'll give him a 6. I'll give him a 6. With Ben White, I feel like he's closer to a 7 than a 6. He's more like a 6.8 or something, but we'll just give him a 6. He's definitely our best option for left back. He's very good one-on-one. I thought he contained Leroy Sané. I was scared that Sané was going to do something, but he kept him very contained, which was good. Moving on to the midfield, Rice, I'll give a 6. I've been really disappointed with Rice as of late. I mean, he's been so good all season, but he's just shown the lack of experience. Like, we've seen him, he's won the Conference League, you know? We thought that we were getting someone who's at least... Like, the Conference League is a joke of a trophy, yeah, but he's captained West Ham for all these years, you know? But, yeah, I was really hoping for some improvements from him because as of late, his form has not been great. Jorginho, I'll give a 5. He was taken off early. I understand that. He was just not really in the game at all. I feel like in the first half, he wasn't too bad. The second half, he was getting ripped to shreds. Could not track Kimmich to save his life. And Odegaard, I'll give a 5. I'll give him a 6 because he was actually, somewhat trying. He wasn't at his creative best, but he was the only attacker that was actually trying to create something, and I feel like his form has been amazing, and this is probably his worst game in a while because I feel like he played well in the other 2 games. Like, he was our best player in those other 2 games easily. We didn't really have any other standout performances, but today wasn't up to it, but still not one of the worst players on the pitch. Martinelli, 4. He has to put that chance away. And I don't know, he looks like a completely different player. He used to be so electric. He used to blaze past players, and now he's so predictable. Like, he's got the pace, but you just know exactly what he's going to do. And his final ball is shocking. His finishing has been poor. If he puts that chance away, it's a completely different game. We have a 1-0 lead. And I feel like we have the defensive quality to see out a win. But it didn't end up happening. Saka, I'm going to give a 4 as well. I've seen him getting so much criticism, and I'm not going to say it wasn't a poor performance because it was. But I'm just sick of, all the Saka hate. What other 22-year-old who's put his club and country on his back for so long? Not country, but he's been consistently performing for England. He's been carrying Arsenal for years, and he gets this much shit online. Disgraceful. But it was not his day. And he has been caught out quite a while against good defenders. Mazuri had him completely pocketed, did nothing, had no impact at all. And what I really didn't like to see from Arteta was, or not from Arteta, not just from Arteta, from the whole team, was we went to him too much. When, like Bayern, they were overloading the defense on the right-hand side. They had so many defenders. We couldn't do any. Ben White and Saka, they could not even link up or anything like that. Yet we didn't play through Martinelli enough. We didn't try and push up the left-hand side at all, and that was really unfortunate. But yeah, Saka wasn't able to do anything in this game. He just looked rinsed. The whole team today looked completely rinsed. Like, they look so tired. It looks like they're not even really playing. They look like a completely different team. They do. The fixture congestion has gotten to them. They're not used to playing this many games, this many high-intensity games, and it's really gotten to them. And then Havertz, look, he didn't even really do anything wrong. There were probably maybe a couple chances he could have put away, but he just got no service. We couldn't get the ball to him at all. So 5. Like, he was just not involved whatsoever. And I'll see if there's probably 2 subs that are worth giving a grade. Jesus, 6. He had a couple decent moments, but he's just been so caught out. He's just, ever since that injury, has not been the same player. Trossard 5 had no influence. And this sub right here just proved where we are as a team, that we are not at that level. We need a goal against Bayern Munich, yeah? A Champions League quarterfinal against one of the best club, one of the greatest teams of the last decade. And in the 86th minute, we take off. Who did we take off? We take off Takahiro Tomiyasu for Nketiah. Nketiah is our option off the bench. We need a new striker. We need a new striker bad, bro. Nketiah and Jesus, I feel like, should both go in the summer, and we should bring in like a Gyökeres, because this is just, yeah. Havertz isn't consistent enough. Like, he's good on his day he's good, but he's just nowhere near consistent enough. And the other two just really aren't that good, are they? They're not the quality of a team that it should be competing for Premier Leagues and hopefully one day Champions Leagues. And then Nketiah obviously didn't do anything because he was on for like 5 minutes. So yeah, and Arteta. Arteta 4, because I feel like he wasn't as innovative as he should have been. You know, that we had nothing. I've kept saying this. We nothing was working, and we just couldn't think of anything else to do. Couldn't mix it up. And as a manager, you have to be able to make these changes, these tweaks. Because Arteta, you know, he's a great tactician. He's got us playing great football most of the time. But other than like subs, he didn't have anything to do. We had no options. None of the subs did anything. I feel like the lineup, we didn't really have enough quality on the bench. That just shows that we're not deep enough. And yeah, he just wasn't able to make any tweaks to the team whatsoever. So I'm going to give him a 4. So it's obviously not the result we wanted. But we move forward. Because as much as I and a lot of Arsenal fans want to sit here and cry and say, oh, we're 2 points behind City, they're not going to drop any points. We're out of every other cup. We're out of every cup competition. The season's over. That's not how the team has to think. And the fans really should be getting behind this team, because we're only 2 points behind Manchester City. We are second in the league, for fuck's sake. There's 6 games to go. We've got some big fixtures upcoming. And I feel like this Wolves game would dictate how the season goes. Because if you ask me to be completely honest with how I feel this team's going to go, we're not going to recover. The way I've seen this team play, they're knackered. They're absolutely knackered. I feel like watching this team in the last 6 games is going to be a drag. I honestly feel like we are going to drop more points than City are. This Wolves game is screaming a 1-goal loss, because we've had all these fixtures. Wolves are just going to be pumping at home. They're trying to maybe compete, maybe sneak a European spot. But yeah, it's probably over for us, I think. They still have to try, because if we see a good effort from the boys against Wolves, if we see a good 2-goal, if we manage to win 2-3-0, if we don't concede a goal, if we score a couple, then the season's back on. The season's back on. Even if City win against, I think they play Brighton next, although I think we play 2 games before City play 1. I'm pretty sure we play Chelsea and Wolves before City have their next game, since we've obviously got Chelsea in midweek. They don't have any midweek games, and then their game on the weekend is postponed, which is definitely interesting, which means that if we beat Wolves, we go top of the league. We go top of the league if we beat Wolves. And even if it's obviously going to be temporary, if we beat Wolves and Chelsea, we go 4 points clear at the top of the league. It doesn't mean anything, because City have 2 games in hand that they'll probably win, but at least it'll be a good feeling. But yeah, I don't really know what else to say. There isn't much to say from this game. It's just a disappointment. It's just the same few points that I'm recycling over and over again. Just, we had no ideas. The team looked tired. None of the subs did anything. Lack of experience. We were outclassed. And that's it. That's all I can really say. Bring on Wolves. We have to win that game. And if we don't, That's the end of the season. I'm already not confident. At least City lost, and at least Liverpool lost. No, I'm not even happy City lost. Fuck City. They should have won. I was honestly rooting for City, if I'm being honest, because I hate Madrid. Even though I'm an Arsenal fan, I've always loved Barca just because of Messi, and I fucking hate Madrid. And I actually really wanted City to go through, because if they had, they would have had more fixtures. So, yeah. I'm going to stop waffling, and I will see you for the Wolves preview tomorrow. Come on, you Gunners, I guess.